Before we go into it, this is the music I'm listening to, so don't leave any comments asking for the fucking playlist. I'm just listening to a piano stream. That's what I always listen to if there's piano music in my videos or on my stream. Now, let's go into the patch notes. His minion damage reduction is getting reduced. This is really good because Aatrox is already struggling a lot right now. Aatrox doesn't see much play, especially versus poke matchups now. He's really bad in because he can't clear waves and he can't sustain. So this will help a bit with this. Especially for mid lane, this will be even more important to help him gain mid prio again. But mid lane Aatrox, again, like if you pick mid lane Aatrox and enemy has like Syndra, you're gonna get poked down and just bursted. It's gonna be very hard to play. So I don't think we will see Aatrox again for a long time. He will need more than this to come back. Anyways, a buff is a buff. Akali, in my opinion, is the one that got hit the least with the changes that Riot did when they nerfed Aatrox and Akali in the same patch. I feel like Akali was still playable, Aatrox was really bad. So Akali being buffed is still, it's deserved because she got nerfed hard, obviously. But yeah, Akali players will love this because I don't feel like this champion was dead. Annie has been seeing a lot of changes recently, so let's see what they do this time. Even more movement speed. I mean, Annie, the thing with Annie is that she at least used to be a champion that heavily relied on having her flash. Without flash, Annie couldn't really do much. So Annie players have tried to like go things like Proto Belt to make up for this. But now since your E gives movement speed, it helps a lot with this. Especially for support Annie. So this cooldown scaling down is even better, but I believe you max W and Q on Annie. But I might be wrong. I haven't played Annie in a long time, so. Like, if you max E last, this doesn't matter that much. But still, 1 second lower, rank 1, and even more movement speed. You know, same with the Akali and Aatrox, a buff is a buff. So if you for some reason play Annie, you will enjoy this patch, I guess. But we're not gonna see Annie pick and ban because of this. This is probably the biggest buff out of these four at least, the Ashe one. Even more slow, and it's a big deal because you're permanently using your passive. So yeah, 20 to 30, that's really good, and I like that Riot is buffing slow, because I feel like there's a lot of hard CC and a lot of cancer spells in the game, and slows are like, they are annoying, but they're not as strong, you know? And this is pretty fucking big. Cubing and auto attack reset, this matters a lot. So it's really good, and it makes her a lot cleaner to play. And now Ashe players can say that they have mechanics. This one, like Blitzcrank, the thing with Blitzcrank right now is that even AD carries can somewhat frontline right now in this season, I feel like, in a lot of cases. Like, they have a shield, they have like a peel support, and they have like Bloodthirster, and they have like Phantom Dancer shield, and they can just like frontline and play really aggro. And that's very unhealthy. And Blitzcrank will pose an even bigger threat to that now. I can already imagine so many players getting fucked over by this buff. At least for like this patch, maybe even next patch. Because Blitzcrank range on Q is something that hasn't been changed, you know? So it's like... And it's had this range here. And now it has this. And you can probably... you can probably do some interesting invades with this. Like, you can already hook from here into, like, here. You know? So now maybe you can do to here. You can probably do this wall over to, like, here when they're walking to lane. Things like this. Like, you can stand here, and then you can probably hook fucking here. I don't know. So there's gonna be a lot of interesting things with Blitzcrank. It's gonna be annoying as fuck to play versus as well. Because, like, I can already imagine myself being like, yeah, he can't reach me from here. And then... yeah, so I'm probably gonna play a Blitzcrank game myself, just to get used to the range myself, because it's hard to tell how much 100 range is. I believe that's like a Teemo or something. So I'm probably gonna play a Blitzcrank game, and I suggest you guys to do the same. Yeah. Good buff for Blitzcrank. It's pretty outdated champion, but they're trying to make him more relevant with like bursting the shield with the R, more range and Q. So again, a buff is a buff. One trick Blitzcranks will love this. We already seen Blitzcrank a little bit in pro play back when Tahm Kench was played. Maybe he has some other good matchups that he could be played with this. We will see. This one is really nutty, the Fiora. Q being able to hit turrets and wards. This is really, really big. Because remember, Fiora is a late game split pusher, she's a tank shredder, she's a duelist. Duelists loves to have pressure in the side lane because it forces people to go and answer them. And now she has even more pressure in side lane. It's also gonna make her smoother to play. Because she can like clear wards faster, so kind of like Leona. The E. Yeah, another buff to take in turrets. So yeah, Fiora even bigger of a threat in side lane. Probably at the level of Jax at this point. If not even more. I feel like Fiora was already in a fine state before this buff. I don't know why they're pushing her so much, because top lane meta kind of fits her. Like, they pick Kled, you can go Fiora. They have Aatrox, you could go Fiora. She's okay into Pantheon. You could probably pick her into Jax, I think. Actually, no, I probably couldn't pick her into Jax, now that I think about it. I mean, that matchup can go both ways, I feel like, now that I'm just thinking about it. Like, both have counterplay to each other. But Jax's E will fuck up Fiora, I think. But she can also fuck up Jax if he just jumps, I think. I don't know, that's a weird matchup. But anyways, like, she's usable as a counter pick, so buffing her again I don't feel like was necessary. So if you're a top laner and you don't play Fiora yet, I don't know what you're doing. Gragas W cooldown increased. Damage ratio decreased. Good. I feel like AP Gragas has been, at least for jungle, has been really strong for a while now, and it's really annoying because it's one of those cases where he goes full damage, right? He goes at Morello's, Sonya's, Runic Echoes, just full damage. And he is so tanky because of his W. So at least giving him a little bit less damage is nice. Now this will nerf his clear speed by a lot. It will also nerf his damage versus you a little bit too. But mostly it'll hit his clear speed, but yeah. Just like the other buffs, a buff is a buff and a nerf is a nerf, so Gragas will still be good, but he will be hit. So in some of his rougher matchups where he can be invaded a bit, like Olaf for example, this can help. But he's not gonna be dead. Gragas Yasuo will still be a good combo, for example. Graves is another champion they're really pushing, and he's a champ that deserves it because he brings a kind of different playstyle to the jungle. If you're a jungler that, you know, likes to counter jungle, likes to track the enemy jungler, played this way and just win by pathing better. Graves is a good example of that. So them buffing Graves a lot, I'm a fan of. This is a champion that I used to play a lot back when I climbed to high elo with jungle only. But this kind of jungling isn't the best right now, at least for solo queue. So them buffing Graves is fine. This champion is not strong right now, so he deserves it. Heimerdinger was already fine, by the way. I'm playing duo with a Heimerdinger a lot. And this champion is really good right now. So I had no fucking clue why they are buffing him. But, yeah, you know, I'd take it. Like, I'll take the LP, you know. For me, it's fine. So Heimerdinger gets buffed. All of this is really welcomed. It's really, really good buffs. Is it needed? No, it's not. But, hey, I'll take it. Nerfing Karma non-support damage so she isn't so strong as a blind pick generalist. Yes. Good. Because like right now, like it's like, okay, you don't know what to pick, you want to hide your picks in drafting for competitive, even for solo queue. Okay, just fucking pick Karma, because, you know, if you have to go support, yeah, just, why not just put Karma support? You want to go AD carry? Yeah, just go Karma bot lane. I want to go mid lane? Yeah, just go Karma. Top lane? Yeah, just go Karma. So, yeah, this will nerf it a bit. She will still be really strong, because her laning phase is really safe still. She can still go Klepto, she can still go like tanky build, she can still just go support. But, yeah, you pick Karma, she's a bit nerfed now. Okay. Mordekaiser is a really good pick into Kiana, by the way. So this will help a bit with that. I don't think that this is gonna make Mordekaiser broken, but people who play Mordekaiser will still play Mordekaiser with this. Maybe you see some more Mordekaiser in bot lane as a counter to Yuumi with this change? I don't know. But doesn't seem too much of a change. This just in time for Worlds. This is something I've been talking about a lot if you watch my streams. When people ask me about Orianna, I say how back in old seasons, if you land like a 3-man, 4-man, 5-man shockwave with Ori, it's like, wow, okay, you won the fucking game, you know, that's a lot of damage. And now it feels like it doesn't deal much. So, you know, buffing her base damage and her ability power is really good. I'm a very big fan of buffing mages' damage in lane, at least for mid lane. What sucks with it is that they become so strong in bot lane because of it. But in mid lane right now, I feel like mages, at least for solo queue, they don't have the same power to carry as assassins that can roam and stuff. So probably gonna see some more solo kills with Ori, and that's nice. As a mage player, I'm a bit biased, but yeah, this change is really good. Brings back old season Orianna. This is huge. Ornn jungle is something that's been played a bit in the lower tier of competitive scene. It hasn't quite reached like LCS and LEC yet, but it's being played in scrims. It's being played in Spain a lot. So this is a big buff to that, because level 13 as a jungler in competitive takes a long time. Now 12, you know, that might just seem like one level, but past, you know, like the 11 mark, one level is a big deal. If you play Kassadin and you're leveling from 12 to 13, that can take quite a long time. Now imagine you're jungling as a tank, right? So it's a big buff. If you're a jungler for a competitive team, talk to your coach, talk to your players, let them know what you guys think about Ornn. It's a pick that's worth to learn. Okay, are they nerfing Pantheon or what? Because he's really broken. Less MR. I like this. Nerfing his early game, buffing his late game. There's a good and a bad thing about this. Pantheon is an early game stomper, right? His late game is shit. Now the issue with this is you're nerfing his early game and you're buffing his late game, but his late game is still shit. So overall it's a nerf. If you lose to a Pantheon team late game, it's barely ever gonna be because of the Pantheon. So I like this. Hopefully he doesn't go 20-0 in my games now, because he's really broken. More armor for Rek'Sai, that's nice, nobody cares. Works on turrets, okay. So dying to a Rek'Sai gank or having to recall will be even more punishing. That's nice, maybe we'll see some more Rek'Sai into Lee Sin. Except for that, I don't think we'll see too much Rek'Sai play. For some reason they're buffing Riven. Wait, they're nerfing, wait. Oh, wait, they're nerfing and buffing. One more second on Q. Poor Riven mains, actually. That's rough. That's like 3 seconds more now, because you used to have 10, no? E, 2 more early. Okay, so she's gonna be more tanky. Less damage, more tanky. And you know, being more tanky means you're gonna be dealing more damage. So, in like long fights, I guess this will help. In short fights, this will be worse. Actually, no, that's not true. Because this... I would say it's overall a buff. Unless you get like insta-bursted. But at that point, this doesn't matter. Because you can't use your Q again anyways if you got one-shotted. So, I'd say this is a good buff. This will help her a lot with her harder matchups too. And having like bad recalls will be even less punishing. As Riven. Riven is one of the champions that, like, meanwhile other champions has to use like 25 seconds to get from base to top lane turret. Riven, you know, can just take like 18 or whatever. Because of spamming Q and E. And this will buff that a bit. And also just buff her laning phase, like versus things like Teemo where you need to use your E a lot, this will help a lot. Less damage on Seju, yeah, that's really cool. This champ will still be really broken, but it's nice that they're nerfing damage for tanks, because tanks should not be allowed to fucking kill you. Bigger shield, he will still not be seen play. Like, they buff Fiora on the same patch they're buffing Sion. Like, we're not seeing Sion. Unless some mid laner has a really sad life and wants to flex Sion to mid lane, we will not see Sion. Please nerf Silas. Less armor growth. Wait, what the fuck does this mean? Wait. So before it was 100% attack damage, 3.2 ability, reduced by 50% for minions that aren't a primary target. And now it is, okay, 1.1 to primary target to everyone else. So he has even shittier clear speed. Like, he clears things like Gromp better, I guess, and then Raptors and shit worse. And with this, like, Silas Jungle, the thing with Silas Jungle was that his clear speed early game was already really rough, and he could get hard fucked by Olaf. This will make that this will make that get punished a lot more. Change like this is hard to tell without doing the maths. But overall seems like his clear speed is gonna get worse. Which is fine for me. Like, freeway flex champions, like they can get flex in 3 ways because they're fucking broken, so nerf them. Either nerf them or buff everything else. They're nerfing Tahm Kench again. In my opinion, Tahm Kench is really shit. ever since they made it so that he's like hard stuck when he W's. But yeah, they're nerfing Tahm Kench, I guess. Fnatic will win Worlds, so they are buffing TFE. Attack speed, 20, 40, yeah. Even more base damage, you know, this is buffing both kinds of TF, both AP and AD. AP TF takes turrets faster at some point than AD, and this will help a lot with that. Overall, just buffing TF, buffing his E I really like, because it allows for both playstyles. Five more AD for Vayne. You know, maybe we'll see some more Vayne into Kai'Sa or heavy tank teams, but except for that we won't see Vayne play. This is the fucking best shit ever. It's really dumb, like you are buffing the wrong spell, Riot, but I appreciate it. I will go get rank 1 now. But yeah, like Veigar Cage is already fine. Like yes, it has a long cooldown, but you have to realize it lasts for 3 seconds. So yeah. If anything, what Riot could do is buffing his stun duration by like 0.25 or something, because the tenacity in the game right now is really dumb. But as a Veigar player, I will take this. This is a massive buff to support Veigar. It's a decent buff to mid Veigar, and it doesn't do much for bot lane Veigar. Reason for this is simple. In mid lane you get the most EXP. Okay? Which means that, okay, so you put 2 points in W and then you max your E, after maxing Q of course. So you're gonna feel this buff every single game, at some point. Even if the game is over at like early, you will still have like at least like 1 second less cooldown on your E. So for mid lane this is good. It's not gonna change much, like its early game is still gonna be shit, but a buff is a buff. Now for support Veigar this is really fucking big, because you max E as support Veigar. You can also do 3 points Q and then max it, or 3 points W and then max it. So overall it's a buff, it's really big, because it's the E biggest spell of Veigar. Wasn't necessary, just buff his Q or something, but for bot lane Veigar you don't get much EXP, so yeah, like it's still a buff for bot lane Veigar of course, but it's the role that gets impacted the least with this. More healing for Xin Zhao. And more Q damage later on. Yeah, buff is a buff. Xin Zhao started to see a little less play. And there's a new Kha'Zix build right now, like Bruiser Conquer Kha'Zix. And Kha'Zix is a good pick into Xin Zhao, so maybe we will see those two come back a bit. But yeah, if you like to stomp games early, Xin Zhao is a good pick, but Olaf does the same. Just less ganks. So yeah, Xin Zhao buff, it's not gonna make him broken, but it's pretty big buff. Yeah, pretty big nerf to Yuumi. I think Yuumi is a shit champion, if she is not with Garen, to be honest, with this at least. Because yes, she will have her sustain, yes, she will be safe, but you gotta think, for how safe she is it worth it to replace her with, you know, is it worth to replace a different champion to have her? Just to have her be really safe inside a Lucian or something. So, you know, going from having fucking 80% slow to only 20, it's really big. But, you know, when changes like this happens, and we saw it with Akali and Aatrox now, is that what Riot tends to do is they nerf her for this patch, and then realize, oh, now she's fucking shit, then they buff her. Now for Garen Yuumi, however, you want the Yuumi to deal big boom damage. This doesn't nerf that. It nerfs the slow, yes, so it's still a nerf. A nerf is a nerf. But it will, Garen Yuumi will still be playable, I think. Just because how much damage Yuumi will do for Q still. And, you know, if they do end up buffing Yuumi in other areas, which they tend to do when they do changes like this, Garen and Yuumi will be even better. But Yuumi, Lucian, and these kind of things got hard nerfed. You can still engage with Lucian and Yuumi R, obviously, and run people down. But the slow is really big nerf, so we will see a lot less Yuumi. Finally, we get to the end of the patch. It was a good patch so far. Let's see what they ended with. Zac. Bloblets. Restore an additional 1, 2, 3 maximum health. Okay, well, this 3% one doesn't matter. You're not level 16 on Zac. At least I hope you're not. Yeah, whatever. It's a Zac buff. Still fucking useless. Bug fixes, blah blah blah. Items. We remove D. Nobody cares. Bug fixes, blah blah blah. Kale. Ilaoi. Cool. Yeah. No Shaco bug fix. New skins, really cool. Amumi skin, nice. So, what do we think about the patch? Quick summarize. Veigar buff, big for support, good for mid, not that amazing for bot lane. Yuumi should be dead, at least in some state, without Garen. Since the buff is nice, Vayne irrelevant. TF buff is good, this champ was already fine. Nerfing Tahm Kench, I don't know, like yes he's annoying, but I don't feel like he needs a nerf. Sylas nerf is good. Time buff useless. Good nerf, but she will still be played. Riven more mobility. Less damage in long time. But like I said, E making her live more will probably make her deal more damage anyways. Rek'Sai will be even better versus Lee Sin. Ornn jungle, big buff. Heimerdinger broken. Blitzcrank annoying as fuck. Fiora is cancer broken. Aatrox still shit probably. Unless he has good matchup. So that is the patch, 9.19. Now, excuse me, but I'm gonna go play some Veigar. Bye bye. Make sure to follow me on Twitter, the link is in the description. Follow me on Twitch, everything is in the description. I love all of you. And thanks for watching.